It's a pleasure to be here at In Cosmetics. I was suddenly remembering that the first time I spoke at the event was in Singapore in 2009, and a lot has changed, especially in the digital world. Back then, it was the Obama era. We've moved to the Trump era. It's a completely different world. And as far as digital is concerned, Thailand and Southeast Asia have gone through a massive change. So I was just reading up this morning that Bangkok is Facebook's largest city. Now that's massive. The largest city for Facebook globally is Bangkok, where you have about 27 million daily active users in a population of about 68. Thailand has a mobile penetration of about 143%. So that's about, each person probably has more than one smartphone, and a smartphone penetration of about 60%. And this is fairly representative of, Southeast Asia. So I live in Singapore, advise brands across the region, but markets like Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia are absolutely an outlier when it comes to the digital world. And what some of the beauty brands are doing is leveraging this digital infrastructure. So today what I'm going to talk about is how beauty brands, cosmetic brands, whether you're a brand owner or a retailer, how can you leverage chatbots, which is a very new phenomena in the world of social media. Probably not too new in Southeast Asia, but I'll give you examples and case studies and a framework as to how beauty brands can leverage social media, especially chatbots and messaging apps, to drive a better customer experience. So what CX really means is, how do you provide a better engagement model for your customers? So that's myself. Just a bit about my company. I've been running Happy Marketer for the last 10 years. Literally started at the time when I spoke at In Cosmetics in Singapore in 2009. And so that's my WhatsApp ID or my Twitter ID. Feel free to reach out. Some of the beauty brands that I've helped, or rather my company has advised over the last decade, these are some brands. So Innisfree is a very large Korean brand with Asian presence. L'Oreal, Lancome obviously are global brands. Kiehl's as well. And Guardian, which is a retailer for both beauty as well as wellness. And for all these brands, we basically advise them across areas such as social media, search engine marketing, as well as the chatbot phenomena that I'll be talking about today. So feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to take any questions today, or if you reach out to me on social media at any point in time. So let's talk about the market first, right? So before we talk about chatbots and digital, let's see what is enabling this in this part of the world. So this is from a study by a very large consulting firm called Bain Capital. So what Bain Capital did is they said, what's the total market size of the adult population in Southeast Asia? That's about 450 million. Now, out of 450 million, they found out that about 150 million are already searching, researching, and buying products online. That's a pretty massive audience out of your total addressable population. And then out of that 150, you have about 100 million who are actively purchasing. That's your red bar in the center. So you have about 50 million who are researching, comparing, reviewing, but not really buying. But 100 million are actively purchasing online, right? And then when you look at that 150 million country-wise, that's the split. So you have Vietnam, Philippines, and Indonesia. So like I said, Indonesia is massive when it comes to online purchases. Thailand is not too bad, about 23 million. So the point I'm trying to make is, digital is no more just a place where we hang out with friends, have conversations. People are actually making purchases. And when I talk about digital in the Southeast Asia context, it's really the mobile device. Because Southeast Asia has not had the luxury of desktops for a long while, but it's primarily mobile devices. So it's a very, very active purchasing market as far as digital is concerned. Like I said, majority of ASEAN consumers, which is the Southeast Asian nations, they research and they buy on mobile. In fact, if you go outside the major cities of Bangkok, Jakarta, Singapore, it's pretty much mobile, because the tier 2, tier 3 cities, for them, internet equal to mobile. In fact, there was a recent study done by Facebook where they asked people in Jakarta, what percentage, how many of you have used the internet? They said about 33%. The next question was, how many of you use Facebook? And the answer was 60%. And it's really funny that more people claim that they've used Facebook than they have used the internet, because for many markets, Facebook equals to the internet, right? So again, remember, it's digital purchases happening on the mobile device. And what's very, very interesting is, it's a very, very fragmented market. So this is the stack chart for each country, which is basically tracking all the large e-commerce and n-commerce players. So, in a market like Singapore, where the population is only 5.4 million, you have as many as 12 players, 12 e-commerce players, right from the larger boys like Lazada, Zalora, to local players like Redmart, to newer local players like Carousel, Shopee. So it's a very, very fragmented market. The market has not consolidated yet. You look at Thailand, likewise, you have 10 plus players, right? One interesting phenomena is, in this part of the world, especially Thailand. So if Bangkok's the largest Facebook market, the other interesting thing about Thailand is it's the largest C2C market. What does C2C mean? C2C means consumer to consumer, meaning people are trading and buying and selling through each other. So B2C is when they buy from a Lazada or a Zalora. C2C is when you and I chat with each other on Facebook Messenger, on Instagram, and we exchange numbers and bank accounts, and we trade directly. Now, Thailand, it's the largest C2C market in the world, and that's a phenomenal concept, right? So when we look at Thailand and ASEAN specifically, one more interesting fact that comes out in your favor, in the beauty market's favor, is there are about 9 million what's called beauty addicts in this report. Basically, young female urban consumers who are regularly purchasing beauty products online, whether from large e-commerce brands like Lazada, Zalora, or C2C, where literally a friend puts up a photograph of a beauty product, you message him or her, you exchange numbers and bank account, or you actually meet physically and do a cash transaction. And one of the reasons for this to happen in Thailand is because Thailand has a very, very small credit card penetration. Only about 4% of Thai transactions happen on credit card. So it's still a pretty big cash economy. Hence people, meet offline over coffee or beer, exchange cards, exchange cash. But the transaction starts from social media, through images, through chatting apps, right? So what's very interesting in ASEAN is, apart from a generally very vibrant digital and mobile purchase economy, beauty is the second largest category after electronics. So if you're a beauty brand, this is, it's not the future, this is the present. It's absolutely real. And what are people doing on mobile, all these beauty addicts, what are they looking for the digital economy? A lot of people, this is from Facebook, when they actually did what they called a path to purchase study. That means, what do people do before buying beauty products? So about 80% people look at user reviews. So in the world of social media, before you buy a brand, whether it's a L'Oreal or a local brand, you want to read reviews, right? Just like you read reviews on TripAdvisor. A good 70% are interested in looking at pricing, because it's a value-conscious market. So you want to actually look at pricing options in the primary market, in the second-hand market, right? So social media is fantastic when you want to compare notes. About 55% are looking at product descriptions, right, online. Another 55% are looking at a range of color options, because, there's a saying that whether you're a developed market or developing market, the consumers are extremely active when they come at evaluating. So whether you're rich, poor, middle class, the consumer behavior does not change. You still want to really understand what's the value, what are the options available. And lastly, 54% are looking at, whether it suits my skin type, color, etc. So again, they're very, very knowledgeable consumers. So I think, we shouldn't be treating the ASEAN market that, that's only worried about pricing. Not really. They're as conscious about the relevance of the product, the skin tones, the colors, the price points as any other mature market. And social media, digital allows customers to do a lot more research and make a more informed choice, right? The other thing, and this is interesting, right? If you come to Thailand, obviously everyone visits the boat market, right? Your freshwater market out there. And I think what's interesting is, it's not a surprise that Thailand is the world's largest social commerce. Social commerce happens offline as well in your wet markets. But to me, this is absolutely, it was an eye-opener that Thailand, apart from being the world's largest Facebook market, Bangkok especially, is the world's largest market, valued at about $500 million, where people actually start their purchase journey on social media, be it on Click, WhatsApp, WeChat, Facebook, and the transaction happens using online banking, or like I said, cash transactions. So if you are looking at a digital strategy for this part of the world, don't just look at credit card based online e-commerce. This market's a bit different. You got to have a mechanism where you talk to customers directly, you allow them access to interact with you to find out more, but the transaction, you need to have a mechanism where the transaction can happen offline, right? That's what C2C or social commerce is all about. Yeah. So bottom line, digital is big in Southeast Asia. Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines are shaping literally certain things that are happening for the first time in the world. Nowhere ever have we seen this kind of social commerce happen. So it's a very unique market. So let's look at what is driving social commerce in Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, or Southeast Asia, especially for beauty brands. Number one, chatbots. A quick show of hands. How many of you have used chatbots, or is it fairly new? Okay. So what chatbot really means, and you can, by the way, try it right away as I speak. Chatbot means it's the word chat robot, which means just the way you and I chat, you and I can chat on Facebook Messenger. Now you can chat with a brand on Facebook Messenger. And behind the brand, there is no human being chatting. It's a machine. It's a very smart machine which is powered by artificial intelligence. It can have a conversation in any language. So you can ask questions, the machine can answer. So imagine the efficiency. Last time you had human beings on customer service. Now this is customer service automated 24/7. The machine doesn't sleep. So you could be sitting in Ireland but chatting with the Thailand chatbot 24/7. You could chat in English, in Thai, in Bahasa. Doesn't matter. And I'll show you examples where a lot of beauty brands are actually leveraging this to drive automation, to drive personalization, to drive efficiencies of scale. Because obviously you want to have a human touch, but it's expensive. And maybe you can have your a human team for certain higher value added services in the store. But online, a machine can do this. So this example, as you saw, is basically a human being, a Facebook user talking to a Ray-Ban chatbot, saying, hey, I want to buy shades. And the chatbot says, okay, let me give you some options. So as you see, it's asking questions. Do you want a shades for male, female? What's the price point? And all this is happening automatically. So the chatbot is recommending the user certain specific shades based on the criteria that's offered by the user. And mind you, the transaction can also happen through the Facebook Messenger. So you don't need to have the transaction happening offline. You can have that as an option, but everything can happen online within Facebook Messenger. If you see the example, no one needs to go to a website even. Everything is happening within the chat. Yeah? So that's Facebook Messenger. But you can also have chatbots on WeChat or Line, which is very, very popular in Thailand, right? Line is the second largest, Thailand is the second largest market for Line outside of Japan. This is an example of Levi from WeChat, where in China, where I was there last week, most brands don't even have websites anymore. They use WeChat, because within WeChat, you can have a website, you can have customer service, you can have promotions. Literally, your entire digital marketing can happen within WeChat. You can even pay using WeChat Pay or Alipay, right? So even your transactions are happening inside these messaging apps. And which are the most popular messaging apps? Some of them I'm sure you've used as a daily consumer. That's Line, which is massive in Japan and Thailand. You have WeChat, which is big in China, Indonesia. Viber. So many people think Viber is dead, but if you go to Philippines, that's the Viber's largest market in the world. Philippines. It's unreal how popular Viber is in Philippines. WhatsApp, the largest in the world. Kakao Talk out of Korea. Slack. Slack is primarily for B2B enterprises. So if you're a B2B business, Slack is a very, very popular enterprise chatting app. Telegram. It's getting very popular with the younger crowd. And of course, Facebook Messenger. And you also have Kik. So this is very, like I said, just like the e-commerce market, which is fragmented, the messaging app world is fairly fragmented as well. So there is no one answer for Southeast Asia. If you're doing in Philippines, you got to have a Viber strategy. If you're talking China, you need WeChat. If you're talking Indonesia, you need Line and WeChat. But globally, WhatsApp is pretty popular, right? So, but these messaging chat apps is what is powering conversation amongst brands and customers. And chatbots reside within messaging apps. So chatbots are applications that you as a brand can develop inside messaging apps, right? The most popular platforms for chatbots, Facebook Messenger, WeChat, and Line. You know, I was in Japan last year. You would be surprised, in Japan, if you want to order a pizza, this is exactly how my experience went. I went to my hotel and I said, can you give me the Pizza Hut number? They said, no, you don't need a Pizza Hut number. Just open your Line. I need to find the Pizza Hut account online, which was very easy, one search. And then I asked for the menu. I said, pizza menu. Instead of a menu, I got a list of emoji emoticons. They have an emoji emoticon for each different pizza. All I had to do was reply with an emoji of my pepperoni pizza, and I got a reply saying, okay, no problem, we will deliver in 60 minutes. I said, what about money? It happened online, within my Line, because I had a Line bank account. I could pay Pizza Hut I could pay Pizza Hut directly, and within half an hour, I had my pizza delivered. I was wondering, how did they get my location? Again, from my smartphone. So literally in 3 conversations on a chat app, I could order my pizza using emoji emoticons, right? So the world is moving fast. So you don't need call centers, you don't need a website. A lot of these things can happen within chatbots and messaging apps, yeah? Let's take a look. But before that, just wanted to give you a sense of why this is happening, right? For those of you who have been around on this planet since the 80s, you may be familiar with ICQ, AOL, Yahoo Messenger, or even MSN, right? For some of you who know, AOL was just shut down last month, right? It doesn't exist. ICQ, that flower and that noise, ta-da, that's off as well, right? That's what the world was in the 90s. But then Skype, and then you had BlackBerry and Google Chat in 2000 to 2004. Very, very popular, primarily desktop based. Something happened in 2007, which is not on the chart. The iPhone came about. And that's when the app started coming about. In 2007, literally, I can say the world changed for many of us, because with the app store coming up alive, and then the Google Play Store, you had a myriad and tons of apps that started populating in 2008 onwards, where you had Nimbus, Tango, WhatsApp, Viber, which started sprouting. And then you later on in 2010, 2011, you had Snapchat, WeChat, etc. So this is the trajectory. So if you look at the right-hand side, you suddenly see, thanks to Apple iPhone, which became a global phenomena, you suddenly had 1 billion plus users for these chat apps. Never ever in the history of the world can you reach 1 billion people sitting where you are. Today, Facebook Messenger, 1 billion users. WhatsApp, 1.2 billion. By the way, both are owned by Facebook. Instagram, which is very popular for social commerce, another 1 billion users. So within the Facebook family, you have about 3 billion potential users, which is nearly half the world's population, right? So that's the massive growth, that's the hockey stick growth that's taken place in the last 5-6 years, ever since the iPhone came about, right? So it's a huge opportunity. So today you could be sitting in the Western world, or you could be sitting in Thailand or in Jakarta, but the world is your oyster, thanks to chatbots and messaging apps. All right, let me give you certain stats and certain implications of the world we live in. A lot of brands are developing mobile apps, and I've been asked this as a digital marketer, should we have our website or should we have an app? Now, I have a skewed view on this. I would say don't invest on a mobile app unless you have a specific use case. Why? Fundamentally, about half the internet users in the last 2 years have not downloaded a new app. In fact, I don't have to tell you this. Just open your phone and you'll see the most commonly used apps: Facebook, WhatsApp, WeChat, Uber, Google Maps. You probably don't use a branded app anymore. At best, maybe an airline, maybe a Agoda, that's about it. So I think mobile apps are useful if you're using it for loyalty, promotions. Otherwise, I don't think every brand, needs to have a mobile app of their own. Because A, people are not downloading, so behavior is changing. B, even if you download an app, data shows that within 4 months, 77% of those apps are either deleted or they are dormant. And by the way, mobile apps, it costs money to design, develop, update. It's not a cheap exercise. So my view to customers is, unless you have a very, very specific use case like a Lazada or a Zalora, or you're a massively funded organization, I don't recommend that you have a mobile app developed for your business. I would rather that you have an app or a chatbot developed within one of these super app messenger programs. Yeah. So the other thing, global monthly active users for the top 4 messaging apps, which is your Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, WeChat has now crossed the total members of the top 4 social media networks in the world. So literally, if you combine the active users of Facebook Messenger, WeChat, Line, WhatsApp, and you study it across against the users on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, the messenger apps are winning the game, right, in the last 2 years. So again, there is more data point and reason for you to invest in building or leveraging messenger chatbots, because that's where consumer behavior is. There's no point having large, heavy websites or mobile apps. Next, people are moving to these platforms. So there was a study looking at, hey, should we do email marketing versus should we do messenger marketing? The evidence is in front of you. 80% people, the open rate on messenger notifications is 80% compared to email notifications, because most branded emails go to promotion tabs or spam. So you can design nice, sexy emails, but they won't reach people, or they won't even open it. But what data shows is if you have notifications on Facebook Messenger, on Click, on WhatsApp, WeChat, people are likely to open it with a likelihood of 4 times more. Yeah. So again, another data point for you to make a business case internally. So that's the data point, but let's quickly move to the user behavior, and then we'll come to some specific beauty chatbot examples. Most important is this, the consumer behavior. 10 years ago, if you were having this chat in 2009, consumer behavior was very, very logical and linear. Every brand was trying to focus on awareness, then consideration, then purchase, then loyalty. But today what's happened, it's no more a linear chart, it's a cyclical chart. Yeah? Let's take a look, how does this work? Let's take a very simple category like travel. Let's say you're planning a holiday in Bali. Today, if you're planning a holiday in Bali, you will typically start with an initial consideration set. In your head, you must be like, maybe I'll take AirAsia, maybe Jetstar, maybe Scoot, and maybe I'll book a hotel on Hilton. So you might have a hypothesis in your head. But we don't typically buy immediately. In the world of Google, Facebook, Instagram, you're likely to do what is known as active evaluation. You're likely to go to TripAdvisor to read reviews. You're likely to search on Agoda. You're likely to go to Instagram and do what's known as hashtag searches. The younger audience goes to Instagram and searches Instagram hashtag Bali to see what other travelers are doing. So there's a period of active evaluation, after which there's a moment of purchase. Let's say you decide to fly AirAsia and you book the Hilton hotel. It doesn't stop there. You actually have an opportunity, that means the brands, because the consumers are likely to do a lot of post-purchase expression. Once you reach the airport, people check in. Once you reach the hotel, you share photographs. So brands need to capitalize that factor to ensure that you can trigger the loyalty loop. Because, if your consumers are actually sharing reviews, photographs, live videos from the holiday destinations, or in the fashion world or the beauty world, what's very popular is when people get their packages on Instagram, there's a big trend of consumers doing what's called flat lay photographs. They'll open the package, they'll put all these nice cosmetics on a flat table and take photographs or do live videos. And if they're doing that, you need to capitalize on that content and maximize reach, right? So your job doesn't just, stop at creating awareness. You need to win the battle of awareness, but also win the battle on active evaluation. That means when they are searching and looking out for you, you need to be present. You need to be there to give them additional information so that they choose you over competition, right? So that's the new consumer world that we live in. It's not a linear world. And it's fairly complex, because in the digital world, before people make a buying purchase decision, people want to discover. That means I may not actively be searching, but maybe I'm hanging out on Instagram or Facebook, but as a brand, you can allow your customers or prospects to discover and find out more, right? In the world, either I'm actively searching for something or I'm passively discovering. For search, you need to maximize the game on Google. For discovery, you need to be omnipresent on social media channels like Facebook, Instagram. And then when they're exploring, you need to be present again, be it on chatbots, be it on search engines, so people can find out more, get some information, evaluate to make an informed choice. Like I said, in Southeast Asia, no matter which category your buyer's in, it's a very, very informed audience. And then they might ask further questions. Where can I buy? What's the price point? So on and so forth. Which celebrities use these brands? You need to have a mechanism to answer those questions. And then use, which is buy and purchase. You need to have a digital presence for facilitating that purchase. But don't stop there. Post-purchase, they might have customer service issues. They might have, further questions about, hey, I like this product. Where can I get more? So it's a very, very complex journey on the digital forefront. And just like you, every other brand is fighting this battle. So you need to have a very well thought out digital strategy. You can't just open a Facebook page and expect the world to come to you. That's not going to happen, right? So it's a complex buying cycle, but the good news is digital tools, mobile messaging, and chatbots can help you address all of these. And I'll show you some examples. And the last point when it comes to beauty specifically is Facebook, again, it's part of the same Facebook Path to Purchase study. They said, what do beauty purchasers look out for? There are 3 steps specifically relevant to beauty brands. Number 1, the spark, which is the discovery and the explore, which means you need to entice and encourage and excite your buyers with interesting content, which could be videos, which could be live videos, could be GIF animation, could be Insta stories on Instagram. So you need to spark that attention, spark that excitement. Then comes the consultation phase, which is where people talk to friends and family for reviews. And then comes the purchase. So like I said, you can't just run ads like you do on TV, on radio, and expect people will buy. There needs to be a spark, there needs to be a consultation moment, and then purchase, and like I said, also the post-purchase behavior. Yeah? So let's look at where can chatbots come in. Hopefully you've got a grasp of what chatbots are. Like I said, it's basically bots or machines that chat with users on Facebook Messenger or Click or WeChat. But there are 5 specific critical steps or cases where chatbots can help you. Hopefully this gives you a framework to think about, and I'll be happy to have a chat post this session. Number 1, discover. Chatbots can help your consumers discover more about your brand, your product, so on and so forth. Explore, buy, ask, and engage. It's the same 5 steps that you saw in one of the earlier charts. So chatbots, which live within the messenger apps, can help you do all 5. Yeah? And the good news is, it can be expensive and as an investment initially, but once you invest in it, it's going to stay with you. It's unlike an ad which is alive for a few days and dies. A chatbot is a tool that you develop which can last for a few years. Yeah, of course you got to upgrade time to time, but it's a capital investment that you make which can give you rich dividends over a long period of time. So let's look at specific beauty brand case studies. This is L'Oreal's Beauty Gifter. And by the way, all of these you can use as we speak or after the session. All you got to do is open Facebook, on the search bar on top, search for Beauty Gifter, and you will see a button called Message. Just the same button that you clicked to message a friend. Just click Message and say hi, and you will see magic unravel. Suddenly the machine starts talking to you. And these machines are very, very intelligent and powerful. They know that you're in Thailand based on your location. They know your past behavior. They know your birthday because you have revealed that to Facebook. So all the data that you have revealed to Facebook, these messenger chatbots use to talk to you like a human. Yeah. So this chatbot basically starts talking to you, asking about, hey, tell me a few things about yourself. Who do you want to gift? What's the occasion? Tell me your budget. Just like that Ray-Ban example, based on your inputs, it can start telling you, hey, I think here's a new skin product that I think could be relevant for your friend who's a female, 35-year-old female, because you know what? A lot of our other customers in Thailand are 35-year-old females, and they have given us great reviews. And you can, just like in the screenshot, you can keep chatting. The blue ones on the right are basically your messages. The white on the left are the messages from the chatbot. And it can be an endless conversation. You can keep chatting. So the L'Oreal's Beauty Gifter is basically a chatbot meant for people to discover what gift is relevant for you or your friends or family. Because sometimes, it's hard for you to know what should I gift someone. It's, human beings are not great at always identifying that. But the chatbot can become your personal advisor. It can recommend products based on your needs, your budget, your location, past purchases. Pretty smart. And mind you, this is not a gimmick. The chatbot is integrated with L'Oreal's back-end ERP and CRM systems, meaning it won't recommend a product which is not available in the store. It will only tell you that, hey, buy this product because we have stock. Because you don't want to just randomly create awareness and the customer goes to the store and finds that it doesn't exist. Yeah? So it's a very, very well thought out product. Next, Victoria Bell has a similar virtual beauty assistant. So again, it's a very, very famous luxury brand in the West, where what it does is it gives tips, suggestions, beauty makeup tips, and at the end, it basically facilitates a free consultation session. So once it gives you suggestions and tips, if you're interested, it says, hey, you know what, we can have a beauty consultant come to your office or home. Can you click this button? I can fix an appointment right now. And as you notice in the GIF image, everything is happening within Facebook Messenger. The user does not need to leave and go anywhere else. So it's a very, very immersive experience. Dior has a similar Dior Insiders chatbot, which again facilitates discovery and explore. Here again, it's again around perfumes as well as skincare, where Dior basically recommends. It has a very immersive chat with the audience. As you see, it's not just text chat. They chat with emojis, GIFs, videos to make it very fun and lively. And once in a while, it also throws in product placements. So some brands cleverly push products as well, but in a very subtle manner. The whole idea is, can you do what is known as conversational commerce, right? You basically, it's literally talking to a friend, which is making advisory, making recommendations. Yeah. So 3 global brands that are doing this across Asia. This is probably one of the most well thought through. Estee Lauder's ModiFace chatbot. This is not just a chatbot. It also integrates what is known as augmented reality, which means you start chatting, with this chatbot on Facebook Messenger, and you want to talk about lipsticks, for example, or foundation. Then it says, okay, you know what? I'm not just going to randomly recommend something. Why don't you take a selfie and upload your photograph? So you take a photograph, upload it, and then what happens is phenomenal. You can actually see the different lipsticks applied to your own lip. So it's not a random recommendation just because other ladies are buying this color. You can actually see how this particular shade looks on your own lips. And this is done through what is known as augmented reality. So the reality is your selfie face. Augmented reality is when this chatbot is augmenting your face with lipstick shades. All this happens real time on your smartphone. Yeah. So whether you use Apple, Android, doesn't matter. It all happens within the chatbot, and this is driven sales for them by about 30%, because this is driving personalized automation at scale. Yeah. Different people can actually take these, and then what women are doing is, when they see a particular shade they like, they take a screenshot, they share it on Facebook or WhatsApp, and ask their friends for their opinion. At the end of the day, you want to look good, but you also want to look good for people. You want people to say, hey, that's looking beautiful. Yeah. So this is a very, very sophisticated case where it's not just chatting, but it's chatbot with AR, which is augmented reality. And this is only going to get more popular. Yeah. And by the way, it doesn't stop there. It's for exploring and it's for buying. You can actually click, once you like a particular shade, 2 things can happen. Either you click and it takes you to an e-commerce link within the Facebook Messenger and you can purchase online. Or if they have a Estee Lauder store in that city, you can click and book an appointment so that you can physically go, again, talk to a customer consultant there, try it out physically, and then buy. So it facilitates, it's basically a portal which facilitates e-commerce or physical commerce. Yeah. But the customer journey starts here of discovery, exploration, but it can also push people to buy. Here's a simpler one from Estee Lauder. This is in London, where it was very specifically for one particular brand. This wasn't as sophisticated, but the idea was to push people to a particular Estee Lauder store, right? Basically, you ask, hey, I'm looking for this product. Where can I get it? It'll give you a few store options. You click on it. You book an appointment. You see if the store has inventory. You only go if the store is open and has inventory. So again, it takes a lot of the decision making. It makes it easy. It takes out a lot of variables. Sometimes when you go to the store and they don't have inventory, that's a bit of a bummer. You want to ensure that your customer comes at a time when your consultant is free, you have inventory, so that you have a higher chance of making a sale. Yeah. So again, the chatbot was a very simplistic one, but one that drove people to a physical outlet. Again, this is very common in Southeast Asia, where the journey begins online, but the purchase happens offline, O2O. Yeah. So again, a very good use case specifically in the beauty world. This is Sephora, one of the most well-known digital case studies in the world, right? Across different industry categories. Here what they did, they saw that they're doing this for Thailand, Indonesia, and they said, we'll try this on Kik, which is a very, very regionally popular chatbot or a messenger app. So they said, we're going to have some fun. I'm not going to sell products, but I'm going to run quizzes. I'm going to run contests online using chatbots. So if you use this on Kik, they do a lot of beauty quizzes, they do profiling, like BuzzFeed, they tell you, you are more like celebrity A, so that it becomes fun and engaging. And of course, if you want to find out about a product, they share details. But they don't really push products. They use this to profile their customers to find out more. Yeah. So Sephora is doing a fantastic job. The beauty is, whilst they're doing at the back end, they're collecting data. Because to play the quiz, you must give your email ID or mobile number. And then they're collecting these databases, which they are then using for email and Facebook marketing later. Yeah? So it's a very subtle and clever way of engaging your customers. So likewise, you can play the game, but you can also ask for recommendations. But Sephora has a very soft style. They only provide recommendations or product portfolio details if you ask. They won't really push this because they want to build their brand first. They don't want to just sell products. Yeah. A few other examples of engage. So I think chatbots have very, very good examples for engagement, because at the end of the day, social media is all about driving customer engagement. Burberry, which is obviously into trench coats, but also into perfumes and other cosmetic goods, they don't sell or do any product information. What they do is they provide customer service and engagement to your customers along with some of the events they sponsor. This is from the New York Fashion Week. They were sponsors at the event. So they use the chatbot to provide customer service. That means if people want to find out where's the next show, who are the models, where should I park, where are the toilets, you could just ask a question on the chatbot, and within literally real time you would get an answer. So you don't have to call a customer service, because that gets very, very tedious. Yeah. Tommy Hilfiger likewise did one for one of the events. So these brands use it primarily for brand building and customer engagement and customer service. They don't do product selling yet. Yeah. But it's mostly L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, Sephora, which have moved into that direction, because again, they are very, very sophisticated e-commerce and O2O programs which have gone live. So those are some examples from the beauty world which started in the West, but now they have moved to Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia. And I'm going to leave you with a couple of business metrics or business cases, factors to think about, right? When you develop chatbots, whether yourself or through your agency partners, what are some metrics? How do you measure whether your chatbot is successful? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be doing this for the sake of doing it. There's no point doing anything on digital just for the sake of coolness, right? So if you're investing in a chatbot, which will last you for the next 4 to 5 years, you need to measure these 6 metrics, which is how many people are we reaching through this chatbot? How much time are people spending on my chatbot? If they're spending a lot of time, that perhaps is a good indication of engagement. How frequently are people coming back? Because if people are coming back, maybe they like the process, they like the engagement. CTR, which stands for click-through rate. How many people, if 100 people come to the chatbot, how many are clicking and going to my e-commerce store? Am I generating leads from this? And most importantly, if I have an e-commerce or an O2O program, how many people are converting to real buyers? The good news is the chatbots have analytics built in, and you can actually measure all of this. So it's extremely powerful. The beauty of digital is you can measure metrics that matter, because if you don't measure, you really don't know what to optimize, what to change. Unlike the digital world where you're just praying and praying. In the digital world, in the offline world, there's a saying, you just pray and you pray. You show an ad and you hope the world will come and buy. In digital, you don't just pray and pray. You can actually control your destiny. You can control and influence each segment of discover, explore, buy, use, and ask. And chatbot is the future, or rather chatbot is the present of helping you to do that. Yeah. So these are metrics that you should measure, and chatbots have an inbuilt mechanism to help you measure. And lastly, what are some of the considerations that you need to have in mind, right, when you're building your chatbots? Number one, you need to build your chatbot for a specific business purpose. Like I said, in the path to purchase journey, it's a pretty complex journey, right from discovery, exploring, buying, using, and asking and engaging, right? So you want to ensure that, hey, is my chatbot only for discovery, or is it for buying, or is it for engaging, or is it for everything? Again, the good news in digital is you don't have to build it all on one day. You build phase by phase. Start with the discovery chatbot, and you can add on, yeah, based on how the user feedback is. But ensure there's a specific objective. Most importantly, ensure your chatbot allows personalization. Everything in the digital world is about personalization, one-to-one communication, because no two consumers are the same. So if you're talking to two different consumers, you shouldn't be talking to them in the same tone of voice with the same product offering, because human beings are different. And research shows that if you personalize your offering, your messaging, chances of success are much higher. In Southeast Asia, your sales can go up to about 30 to 35% if you have personalized communication and personalized offering. Number 3, bring some element of humor and entertainment. That's the power of digital. You don't want to be talking like corporates, because when you're talking to millennials especially, or Gen Z, you need to have some emotions through emoji, emoticons, through videos, through GIFs. You can't be those boring corporate brands talking in just proper English. You could be talking in Singlish, Bahasa, Thai, as long as you can have an emotional connect. Don't just stick to prim and proper English, right? We're not a corporate fake brand out there. Bring some life into your brand. Number 4, which will be very unique and very important in this part of the world, is if you want to facilitate purchase, integrate different payment mechanisms. Like I said, in Thailand, credit cards won't work. It's a very small credit card market. In Singapore, it will. But maybe you need to have unique payment mechanisms that are, that are the flavor of the local market. In certain cases, you may need to integrate cash payments as well. In Singapore, there are 2 brands called Carousel and Shopee, which facilitate that, where people can actually do cash payment, or now they're integrating with PayPal or the Chinese brands like Alibaba, Alipay and WeChat Pay, where you can connect your bank accounts with WeChat and Facebook Messenger. By the way, by the time next time this year, Facebook Messenger is going to roll out payments within Facebook Messenger, meaning you can transfer money to your friend on Facebook without knowing his or her bank details. So as long as he or she is your Facebook friend, you can transfer money. Yeah? So that social payments are becoming very, very real in this part of the world. Lastly, all of these tools can do what is known as predictive and proactive marketing, which means based on past historical conversation data, purchase data, you can actually predict when is your customer likely to buy next. So if you know customer A is likely to buy next on November 18th, maybe on November 16th, you might want to send him a notification saying, hey, here's a new product portfolio that I have, here's a promo, do you want to check out? So these brands, the Sephoras and the L'Oreals are extremely sophisticated. Based on your past purchase, they can predict with about 70–80% accuracy when are you likely to purchase next, for which brand, at what purchase value. Because if you have that data analytics capability, you can then nudge your customers or give them certain heads up so that you can facilitate that process. Yeah. So the whole idea is allow personalization, allow integration with payment, but also have certain predictive capabilities. Yeah. And last, we are moving into the world of voice. So all these chatbots are basically using thumbs to chat. But I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Amazon, Google have all launched what is known as, these voice-enabled chatbots. This is Amazon's Alexa Echo, where you can give voice commands to this device. And trust me, I have one at home. This can do anything from switching on your aircon, to your lamps, to talking to your microwave, to playing you a video, to playing your song, to buying you something. So literally I can say, Alexa, tell me what's the price of L'Oreal brand ABC. It tells me the price, then I say, hey Alexa, can you please order me one? That's it. I don't do anything else. Alexa does everything else in the background. So if you want to prepare for the future, forget mobile apps, forget e-commerce. You've got to be ready for mobile messaging, for chatbots, and also voice-enabled chatbots, because that's where consumers are moving. And this is very, very popular, especially in our part of the world, where a lot of the population, unfortunately, is still illiterate. To chat, you need to know a language. But in India, Indonesia, where a lot of the population are illiterate, but like I said, they're illiterate in English, but they are informed buyers. they can speak. So if you want to capitalize on the bottom billion, voice is your biggest ally, biggest friend. Because in India, Indonesia, Philippines, in the low-end segment, or even in the mid-tier segment, if people are not very, very well-versed with chatting, voice, voice is probably the most primitive thing. So it's funny that digital's come back one round circle where we are talking about voice interactions, right? So Alexa, Microsoft has a similar device, Cortana, and you have Google devices as well, Google Home. So be prepared. So as I end this session, all I would say is allow thumbs and the voice to beautify your brand's customer experience. Yeah, thank you.